I'm audible.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, I guess I don't have like Zoom app from in my desktop. So I'll just quickly start with myself. Right. Just a second.
Yeah, yes, it is visible.
Sure. Thank you. So let me just start with my introduction. As you know, like you know my name, but let me just give a small intro about myself. So actually, myself Rahul Rao. Currently, I am at Make My Trip as a product design intern. And just to give you a small brief about myself, I'm currently I'm pursuing my I'm pursuing my degree as a pursuing my degree on a BTech as a computer science engineer. But my inclination is toward designing. And right now, I love to like create a soothing experience for the user. And I have experience of 1+ years as a product designer. I have worked with various startups and in a different domain that consist of like consultancy firms and a home automation startup based on that. And my first intern, as I've joined as a first intern, my first intern was like basically a home automation company. So I have designed them. I have helped them designing out their base means main product for like their funding and seeding round. And the second company was like from the Saro. It was like consultancy firm. So I was just designing out a thick application for them. And right now I'm at Make My Trip. I am at the GoIbibo end. I handle out the whole hotel scenario. From the back end side, it is on the, you can call it as a B2B side, business to business. So you guys won't see the interfaces from the GoIbibo or the Make My Trip that I design. I design for the hotel managers or the various customers. Those are the property owners. And if I tell me a small brief, if I just tell you a small introduction about myself, I would consider as myself as a storyteller, because I started off my career as a video editor, and right now I'm a product designer. So it was like basic big transition that I came from as an engineer to a video editor, then a product designer. So let me just give you a journey of mine as an engineer who turned as a designer. So it like basically you guys are also from the engineering calling right now. Yes, can you just switch on your mic? Hello. Okay. Yeah, you can like
Yeah.
type also.
Yes, sir.
Sure. Sure.
Thanks, huh?
So like just to be frank with you guys, yeah, because as an engineer, if you just come out to the industry, if you are just looking for a good company, so they basically prefer out the candidates those who are from a design college. So it is like quite hard when you just go out there and hop out if you just want to if you just want to a good go into a good company and you just want a decent package and all. Basically when you start off designing, when you start off designing, you are muted and you don't have anyone to like have a proper guidance or give you something like a kind of path that you should follow. So I'll be covering that thing only in this session, and tomorrow I'll be giving out you something hands on the various tools that I prefer or that I personally use. So I have divided this session on the two parts. So today the session would be like quite informative, the things that I did and things that you shouldn't do or I would consider as my mistake, so that you don't have to waste your time on that particular thing. So you will be having like a quite journey map. I'll be providing that on the end of the session, like after means tomorrow. By tomorrow, I'll be providing you a journey map. But today you have to like keep on noting out the things that I am telling you. So back in 2018, I began to volunteer uh, as a as a photography on my photography club of my college. Basically, my college is JP University Guna, and right now I'm in fourth year, and I'm parallelly managing out my college and internship. So I'm like a full time intern as a remote. I have joined as a remote intern for them as a full time, but I'm still parallelly managing out the college. So that is the first basic hurdle that I'm facing right now, is that if you are like trying out to means, first of all you have to like think out wisely that is it is like, is it is for you that you have a good amount of growth that you are seeing out on the design career, or is that like on you're on the non-technical non-technical, if you want to if you're into non-technical part, so then you have to like manage out things very smoothly, so that the both of the things and the both of the sides are quietly goodly balanced according to me. So coming back to the header, so I'll just give out a small journey about myself. So I explored out various aspects of graphic designing and video editing. My more inclination or dominating section was video editing at that time. So I explored out various software. You can name out as Premiere Pro, DaVinci, or After Effects. So I tried out various softwares, and at a point I was like, that was my saturation level. So at that point I was like quite of bored, like up to me, like I don't have anything more out to explore out. So I thought like I should see out the UI UX, because it was booming from 2018. If you just see all the trends, the designing, the opportunities in designing, or opportunities as a product designer or UX designer or UI designer or graphic designer is currently increasing, and it is increasing just because of lockdown. Many companies are being starting as startups, so they are like trying out to, first of all, the scenario on the, if you just see out from the 2000 before 2018, it was quite like development first, then they will go through designing. But right now the approach is like design first, then develop, because if the product is not good, then you won't get any funding, you won't get any user. If the experience is bad, no one would like use your app or use your product that you are being building or you are being making. So I'll just give out something insights for my journey. So with help of my senior, first of all, you should like interact with any senior. Like if you just want to ask anything to me, you can reach me out on LinkedIn. My name is Rahul Rao, and you can find me, like if you like put out my college name, you will easily find me. So you can reach me out there. Or if you like to connect more than the LinkedIn, you can find me at Instagram as rahul.fig. So you can totally reach me out, because the more the seniors, the more connection you have, the more what I can say, opportunity you have. Because if you just connect out the people, if you are just connecting out the people, then it would be helpful for you just to build out the community, so that if in case like you don't have any backup plan or something like that, so they'll help out. I'm sure of it, because I have some mentors and I have some like teachers, or like I can say my seniors, those who have helped me, and like they have really helped me to boom out or kickstart my career. So with the help of my senior Ashutosh sir, he's also a product designer at Parallel right now. He has a quite good experience, and he's still right now my mentor also. He's guiding me through all my journey and all. And you can check out more I can say non fictional mentors. They can be on the YouTube side. You can see out the videos of Abhinav Chikara and Chetan KVS. They are the product designers from the Unacademy, and Abhinav Chikara was the head of design of Unacademy, and right now he has his own edtech startup that is 10K Designer. So that is also basically a design course. You can you can check out, and you can like just go through the page, and you can just check out the case studies out there. I'll just explain out the case study term in later on. So I was really curious, and I was ready to like dive into the subject. So I have left my whole core. I'm not telling you to just leave out your core and basic subject, but it was from my side, because I was pretty confident about myself, because I just wanted to be a designer, because I had no interest on development or coding, I'll say. But if you are like, if you have a good interest on development or front end side, so it would be like a good benefit for you, because you will be providing you'll be like a big and a great asset for a company. Like if you have a good design sense, and if you have a good development although in the same side. So I started out reading out some blogs from the Medium and articles and various laws of the UX. So I was like, I will say that I'm totally from the UX or psychology side, because at the time my design was my design thinking, or my design what I can say, intuition was not that good. If I say 1 year back, I would say, when I started off designing. So I was totally interested on the UX side. So I took a course from the Interaction Design Foundation. They provide I'm just not telling you to spend out a bunch of money, but if you are interested on the UX side, so you can take out course from the Interaction Design Foundation. And I also took the course, and it was like quite theoretical, so it would be quite boring for you, but still, yeah, you can get some insights from that also. Now, let me just next slide. So basically the job hunting scenario, which I am telling you, which I have just conveyed you before. So if I just give you a count, like how many companies companies I have applied. I have applied to 120 companies and given out 70 plus interviews. So what were my key takeaways from the each and every interview? I have literally written down everything, like what are the things I have uh, I have just got from them, because I was randomly applying for the companies. I just want a intern position or full-time position. I was just trying to what I can say. I was interested on building out products because I just want my design skills to be tested on a problem statement from the user side. Like this is a problem statement, and I have to give a solution for the users. So this was like my key approach. So I have applied for the various companies. So what were the key takeaways from my interviews? So first of all, they give me a structure to how to perform and how to introduce yourself to, because at the interview you are selling out yourself. Okay, so basically you will be selling your work, your case study, your accent, your behavior, your culture. You will be selling those things. So you have to you have to be quite rigid or structure wise. That if you are telling something, then you should convey it very what I can say, decently or very peacefully, so that it should be like hopping on to the other's mind. So next thing, what the interviews helped me is that to build out the connection, and I have a really good connection. I'm really blessed that I have a good connection from my peoples, and they are really helping me out for each and everything. If I ask to anyone, they really help me out, like for the openings or if I for anything. And the next thing, it was that like when I present when I present my work, or when I present my case studies, so I was quite lucky that the HR manager or design manager, who or she was taking my interview, she was like she or he was having a good amount of experience. So they actually pointed out few points that I have taken, and I have worked on that, and eventually it helped me out to growing as a good designer. I still am still learning. I don't consider myself as a good designer, but still I'm learning, and learning process is like to and fro. You have to learn everything, like after having a 15 years of experience also. So yeah, that is like a quite sad story of job hunting. So now what are the next steps that we should focus on? Like now what next you guys should do? Because this was my experience from it was my personal experience, and you wouldn't find out in any this you won't find these things on YouTube or any social media platform or anywhere on the internet. So this was my own experience, and everybody will be having his or her own opinions or own experience. So the experience might change, but the pattern, or if you just see out the pattern and how they started out their journey, the pattern and everything would be same. So let us just see out the steps that I have planned for you. So before going on, let me just ask you guys, like, do you know what is the basic difference of design and art? Hey, don't see from here, okay? I have not put it on animation. Just hop in the chat. Anyone? Okay, so Harshpal knows what is the difference, right? Hello.
Yeah, you're audible. Yes.
Yeah. No, I was just waiting for the response. Guys, anyone can let's make this session interactive. It would be good. Okay, so no problem. I'll just explain out the things. Okay, just we got a response. Designing is a form of art. Yeah, Miriam, exactly. Designing is a form of art, but it has some constraints. So what are those constraints? We'll be discussing that constraints, because art is like intuitive. It is like it doesn't have any form or a structure or anything. Art is something like, if I just draw out randomly my signature, that is also a form of art. But design is something intuitive thing, or a constraint, a pattern that we follow to build out something useful for the user, or something useful for a community that we generally want to provide. If you just see out the scenarios of various startups that is being going right now, they just hop into the particular problem statement, the problem statement of the CRAD. If you know the CRAD, so they just pointed a simple problem in the society. What was that is key. Basically the people were they were what I can say, they were not regularly checking out their bills and all, and they were paying extra money. So they have taken out a problem statement, and they have delivered a product in a such a way that the main what I can say, if you just check out the CRED app, so it is designed as such a pattern. It is quite usable, and it is so good that the design gives out the pleasure to the user. So basically that is design. When you're designing or making of something, it has some constraints. It is a form of art with a constraint. So that is basically a design. So design is solving out a problem and art is raising out a question. When you are designing something or you're sitting in the auction and if you don't know what is this, so you will ask, preferably you will ask कि ये क्या what you have made like here. So design is conclusion and art is like an open debate. So anything like art can be art can have a universal opinion, but design is constrained. So if you are presenting on the mobile screen, you have to call. So the main functionality of that screen would be that you should call. But if I have made something on the art side, then it should be like kind of a debate session out there because everyone will be having their own opinions on their own sides. So design is basically being an actor and following out a script. But art is kind of writing and interpreting your own story. And you have to like you will have your own freedoms and you don't have any constraints on any set of rules that you have to follow while performing or presenting out your art. So yeah, design need to be collective and acceptance, and art only need to be like inner approval from your own like soul or your own heart. And design is kind of empathy and art is art of freedom. So yeah, this was like a basic difference from the design and art. Now let us see next slide. So what exactly a good design is? So do you know what the term good design means? Anyone? Guys, you can type if you like this feel. Okay, no problem. Design that is universally accepted. Exactly. Yeah, we had some more responses. Systematic and according to the given constraint. Exactly. Which fulfill the user problem. Exactly. So basically, what exactly a good design is. If you see the user base, so that doesn't mean the user, those who are like we and us, we have everything. What you can say, we have everything well and fine. Thanks to God, we have everything well and fine. We have a good eyes, we have a good structure and all. But the people, those who are like they can't, they have a color blindness or they are blind or something like that. They don't like they come on the disability section. So a good design is a design that should be accessible for everybody, including out them, the crowd, the total crowd. Like it should be accessible for everybody. There should be no differentiation or what I can say border between us and them. It should be accessible for everybody, and there should be no difference while designing out the interfaces. Like if you see, the app designed for iOS and Android platforms are quite different, but it is accessible for everyone. If the guy who has a color blindness or who has something like that, he, no matter what, he would be having a like the designers has to keep this on the mind and design the apps or interfaces on such a way that it should be accessible for him also. Now let us see the next slide. So how to get started in UX design. So basically this would be a brief part that I'll be telling you, because this is my own parts or own mistakes that I'm telling you to like to follow and not to do. So first of all, start following industry leaders. Like before like framing yourself into a designer, just follow out some people or some. Just a second. What is the difference between UX and UI? Yeah, I'll be covering that. I'll be covering that. So how to get okay, just like let me just give answer to Sarthak first of all. So basically UX. So basically UX is experience side, something like that is not visible, but you can feel out from after being linked to the interfaces. That is UI. UI is I'll just give you an example. Suppose you are using out app, okay, and it provides your cashback. So the experience that you get from the app is like you will be happy now when you'll get out a cashback from the site. So the backend story of those whole flow or whole structure is basically a UX, that is user experience, and that comes under the user psychology, that which is being used to design out the UX experience. And with the help of UX, you are trying to design out the interfaces. Basically, there's a UX has a big domain, and UI comes under that. So we can't debate on that. This both things are different. These both things are same, but they are quite interlinked in such a way that you don't like have to point out a difference. Like you don't have to be like UX designers that will psychologically things or give out wireframes or something like that. And especially now in India, the designers or UX designers design interfaces and the flows, wireframes, everything. So it is like I would say like there's no such difference that is being right now in the India from our side. So yeah, I would say like there's no quite big difference between UI and UX. So yeah, let us just see how to get started on UX design. So first of all, start following our industry leaders that I've told you. Take references from their works, from the case study. Like if you see out various people from various good companies like Google ho gaya, yeah, LinkedIn, yeah, for any great company that you see like as your dream company. So you just check out your art and design section and check their they'll be having a portfolio or a website of their personal work which they have documented on their side. So you can check out their work from there and you just try to frame out like what was the thought process behind those and what was like the approach that they were taking just to solve out a particular problem. And the second step you have to do is like that, say no to Dribble, because if you just go out to Dribble and Behance, there are various designs and various interfaces that is like totally like, I won't say that is like that is not quite usable, but they are not in the right path. Because if you just see out our interfaces are quite simple. And the main thing as a UX designer or what product designer does is that they just want to make things very simple. We don't want to like put out things very complex, like if you everything I have introduced like 6 to 7 gestures in a particular single screen. So what would be the use case of putting out the 7 gestures or 7 shortcuts for a particular screen that can be formed by a single tap? So the interfaces that you find on a Dribble or Behance, it is good for like having out practice for your UI part. But I would say like you should check out the work from the industry leaders, because if you will check out their portfolios or if you will check out their case studies, you will find out that they have done nothing on the UI, but their structure and their rigidity on the UX side is quite good, and it is like quite unbreakable. And third of all, most thing, portfolio is important. Before 2018 or 19, the designers were having their portfolio in the form of PDF, but right now everybody wants your website. So you should I say that you must have your own personal website so that you can convey out your ideas. And the fourth point is like finding out a good mentor for yourself. How I have actually covered that. How would you find like a good mentor for yourself? And fifth part is like fifth step is like start with the basics of design principles. That will be covering on the UI side. So start out with the basic design principles. There are a few basic design principles that you should focus on, and yeah, that will help you out to like balance out from the both UX and UI. But if you're starting as a UX or UI designer, you should you should have a clear goal. Or if you are if you are like a product designer like me, so if you should have a goal like where to start. If you are going on the UX side, then read out the psychology part very really well, so that it will help you out to at least build out a structure. But if you are driving in the middle of the path, so it would be like quite what I can say, alternating. Like you will be for some time you will be reading out interfaces or design guidelines, and sometimes you'll be reading about the psychology or the wireframes or anything like that. So yeah, just frame out yourself key how to like go out. That depends totally on your interest. My interest was on the psychology part, so I just started on the UX side. And if you are interested on like, if you have a good design intuition, if you have a good color schemes, or if you have a knowledge of typography and all, so you can start with the UI part also. Now the sixth step is copy. Yes, copy. So what copying means? So if you are using out okay, just let me give you example. You guys are having your accounts on Instagram right now. Yes, can I get like a response from the chat?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you just check out the app right now at the right moment, if you see the font size of the app, is 15 pixels. It is constant. It is constant. The font size is 15 pixels. But the major difference that plays out here is the font weight. Okay, if you just check out the what I can say, the username that is being put it on the bold, and the captions of the particular photos that is being put it on the regular size. So everything is constant out there. The metadata will be like on the smaller size, but the more area where the screen covers, the more covers out, the major font size is 15 pixels. So yeah, if you just try out to copy out Instagram of app or something like that, you will get this insights from while copying these things. Like if you are trying to just take an example, and today if you go and if you just check out the Facebook's app, and if you just try out to copy, then you will think out ki yaar, why this icon has been introduced out here, why don't we just put out here. So you will just have a contradiction with yourself, so you will get a better insight like ki what was the backend story, or what was the backend thought process of the designers, those who have put a particular text or a particular icon out there. So this habit would help you out to like think wisely while you are designing or while you are like presenting all your ideas. So be a better copier, so that like you can get a better insights, and after getting out various insights, you can like I can say you can just what I can say, you can just go with the good interfaces that will be like solving out the user problem. Now, yeah. So the last and most important step, like before to get starting as a UX designer, is just to be a storyteller or a director. I have written P0 because it has a priority point 0. We call in a design language we call it as a P0 because we have given it this as a major priority. As if you just good in a get to like go in a good company, so they have like different sections like P0, P1, P2, P3, and various four short forms and all. So I have given this as a P0 because if you have an idea in your mind, if you have everything, you are good in designing, you have a good psychological idea, you have a good user base, you have everything. But if you are not a good communicator, and if you don't have a like good what I can say for skill to present out your ideas, then no one would be listening to you, because you are not conveying yourself to others. How they would listen to you? So first of all, you should have like a power or a what I can say, at least a skill set in your bucket list, so that you can convey your ideas to anyone. Like I have given a workshop for the people from my college, like they'll be sitting out 200 people. So you have to like convince them ki, yeah, I'm telling something that is being useful. Like I'll say a scenario. I have just asked them like from my juniors, like how many guys are interested in designing and all. So at that time, only single guy was raising his hand that yes sir, I was interested. But after delivering out my session, and after like completing on my whole session, at least I was like grouped around 50 to 60 people having a particular doubt ki, yeah, we are interested on UX design or UI design, so how to get started. So basically what I'm telling you is that just be a good storyteller. At least communicate your idea. You don't have to care whether it is good or bad, but at least you have to convey it to the audience, to the like shareholders or stakeholders, those who are like seeing out your presentation or your what I can say, your ideas and all. So that is the way like you have to convey all to them. So next thing is like design process. So basically these are really bold terms. You won't be familiar, but I don't have any intention to like to scare you out. But this is basically a design process that industry follow. So let me just tell you my design process. I have like written this down here. You can see, I'll just read out, you guys can note it down. So first of all, if you're starting, if there is a problem statement like you have to build a particular app that sells out weed. Okay, so weed is illegal in India, but in US and all, the weed is legal. So if you have to sell out app, okay, so supposedly I'm the like what I can say, I'm the investor, and I have an idea ki, yeah, I have a company, they sell out weed, so I just want you to design an interface for me. So if I'll be giving you, so what you should be doing is that ki, first of all, understanding the problem ki, yeah, if you have to sell the weed, so what should be like exactly the user base you have to be targeting. Okay, first of all, understand the problem statement that should be like going on the backend side. Okay, and after that you have understood the problem that ki, yeah, I have to deliver out a solution for them. Then go for the complexity of the problem, like how complex and how the legal thing works, and how the complex things are while selling out something to the users. And next thing is that create out a list and a content map that or a direction that should be a user going, like supposedly the user should be starting with a login screen, then a splash screen, then the content list, then the add to cart list, and then after that a successful message that order is being placed and it will be delivered as soon as possible. So that is a flow that you have to plan out before designing. So that comes on the UX side, because you have to get out the structure. So there is no difference between UX and UI. It is quite linked in such a way that you can't differentiate it properly. Okay, so that is what I meant before. The next thing is that after mapping out the flows or a journey of a user, that yeah, this guy will log in or sign up first of all, then he'll see the contents, and if he is interested, he'll read out more in the brief screen, and he'll add this screen, add this product to cart, and then he'll deliver that. So after that you come with the wireframes. That means a rough sketch where like that comes on the that give a structure out to the UI. So wireframes basically means ki you are drawing out something so that ki you can give out a structure to your UI. So you can take out a pen and all. You can take out any pen or anything like that, and you can draw something. I'll just give you a small brief about what a wireframe actually looks. Just a second. So if you guys can see, so this is also a wireframe. So what that is means that this is a simple sign up and login screen. It has a logo of a company, and it has a button which indicates us a login screen and sign up screen. So this is what wireframe. Then we come on to the designing part. That comes under totally your design skill. That is like on the UI section. So you will be designing out an interface. Then you should probably go for the feedback session. What the feedback sessions means, you have to present those idea to like your stakeholders or investors. Like, this is a particular screen, what do you think about that? Because they are also basically a user. You are a designer, you have a superpower that you can design anything with any problem statement you have. So that is like something you have to present and take a feedback from them, because you are designing from them only. So you don't have to be biased ki, yaar, I should put this or I should put that because it is looking good in design wise, and it is like quite satisfying. But right now you are solving out problem for the user. You're not solving out problem for your pleasures, or like you're not solving out problem for yourself. You are targeting out a good user base. So that should be the thought process. You should have a constructive feedbacks from your stakeholders or investors that has been investing out your like that has they are those who are investing out money or anything on your ideas. So next thing is that explore after taking out feedbacks, go for the iteration sections. What is iteration sections and what are basically these terminologies? I'll explain this to the next day. Just to give out a good brief about that, I'll just give out a small overview about that. So you should go for the iteration session. That means repeating out the same things with changing the patterns which you have done earlier. Like, if I have placed this button on, like, if I supposingly the button is right now it's having a padding of 20 pixels. So why shouldn't I like put it as a 16 pixels, or why shouldn't I put it as a what I can say 12 pixels? So that is a iteration part, and you should iterate as many as time, because the maximum times you iterate, the maximum what I can say, the maximum accuracy or precision you will get through while designing. So yeah, that is sorry, just a second. Yeah, so that is basically a design process that is being mapped out here. So we'll be seeing these terms next day, because for today it will be like really more for you. So let us just see the next question. So what is the importance of portfolios and case studies? So if you see, I'll just give you a walkthrough about my portfolios. Just a second. So yeah, this is my portfolio. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So this is my portfolio right now. So what does the portfolio means? Like this is a particular design or something, some funnel we call in like technical terms. So this is a funnel that the manager or something like will be seeing out. So this would help you like to stand apart from the crowd. There would be like minimum when I have applied for the Make My Trip, I had like around 4 to 500 applications, and there were only 3 openings, and 2 for the designers and 1 for the researchers. So this was my portfolio. It is quite simple, but what was my thought process is that ki I should focus or emphasize on particular things, that I have experience of 1 year, I have worked with 3 innovative startups, and just to give you a small brief ki yeah, I am also a product designer. So this is a hierarchy that I have been following. So if I'll just give you a small walkthrough from my portfolio, this is about me section. This is a section of my experience that companies which I've worked on, and you should emphasize on a particular set of points that is being you think like that would help you to stand apart from the crowd. So my portfolio has helped me to like crack onto the good company. So I would prefer out key you should also make a portfolio that would like help you out to stand apart from the crowd. And this is a experience section, and these are my case studies. So we'll be seeing this more about by tomorrow ki what actually case studies means and what should be the pattern of the case study. So it would be like a more to and fro session, and we'll be contacting, and at the last contact me session, if they just want, they can contact me at the end after seeing out my portfolio. So this is a structure that we should keep on, like we should keep in to for the design managers or the recruiters, so that they can follow and see out your design skills at the same time and your thought process while designing out your own because you are selling out yourself. So they should know your thought process after like what I can say. They should know your thought process after seeing out your portfolio. So maximum number of selections comes from the portfolio. So portfolio is really important. You should uh, concentrate on that really much. So this is a case study. I'll be covering this tomorrow by tomorrow. So what is UI and UX? So I have given you a brief about UX, just to give you a definition about UX. So experience is process of our design teams to create out a meaningful and relevant experience for the user. I have been telling the main motto what I am telling you. The same thing is on a repetition is that, so that it should get into your mind. Because if we just listen out something on a repetitive way, or if you just listen out a song on a repetition, you will eventually you will memorize the song in a like at the end you'll memorize the song. So that's why I'm like keeping out these things on repetition. So if you just read out, experience is like a process that design teams follows to provide a meaning and relevant experience to the user. This involves like a design of entire process, acquiring and integration of the product, including aspect of branding, designing, and usability and function. And what is UI? So if you see user interface is a point of interaction. User experience is experience, but interface and interaction which is linked with user experience. So it is an interaction between the user and product or a machine. The user interface is usually related to tangible items. User can control user cannot interact with non-tangible one. Just like UX, UI designing also involve characteristics principles such as efficiency, clarity in UI, familiarity in design, and consistency. I'll be covering this in design principles. So let us just see. So if you just want to get started with UX specifically, I have just put it out something which helped me to kickstart my journey. So if you just start out, if you're interested to read out blogs and articles, you can just check out Medium, and you can check out various UX articles. And NN Group is totally Nelson Norman Group, the father of UX, the Don Norman. You can you'll just getting his name when you just search out as a father of UX and all. So he's Don Norman. He has a book like Design in Everyday Life. It is really a good book. It is really a good book. I would prefer that you guys should read that book, because every means this door behind me has a handle. It is designed in such a way that he reduce out our effort just to open out door. So everything in universe, everything in this planet is being designed in such a way just to reduce out our effort, so that we should perform the particular activity in such an efficient way. And next thing is UX Foundry. You can read out articles from this side also. But if you are ready to invest some amount of bucks or money, you can attend any boot camps or any short sessions or a kind of workshop like that. especially inclined with the UX, you should check the brief out there and go with the basics laws that are totally based on user based and psychological. Get inspired from the patterns from the case study you see. Case study is really important thing. You should follow the patterns of the case study you see, and I'll be covering this by tomorrow. What case studies and portfolios help you to make a part, and I'll be giving a walkthrough about my whole, like I'll be giving you a walkthrough from my whole design process, how I design and how I create out a design system. Yeah. So this is a laws in UX. So these are basically laws of UX, user experience. There are such certain law that you can find this on a laws of UX site, and you can check out and go through and read it by today. And the main look, everybody knows and everybody knows how to like what everybody knows ki fit laws kya hota hai, and they knows ki what is aesthetic and usability factors. But the main difference is where ki how you know the importance of these laws and how you are performing those on your interfaces, like how you are trying to get those on your interfaces. If you're just reading out and if you're designing not respective with them, so there is no use like to go reading out with UX laws and all, because you are like designing out of your own mind. You are not using out this particular thing, so there is no sense of keeping off or investing your time on this. So if you are reading out this thing and try to like visualize things when you use your daily apps or a daily website that you like frequently go on to touch, like Instagram, okay, Facebook, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, anything that can be. If you just go out with the Fitts law, what does Fitts law means? So you will try to visualize key why the certain button has been put in on the bottom side, because just to reduce out our effort to scrap our hand to the top of the screen. Okay, so that is how basically thought process behind the Fitts laws. So that is how it is being used on a design or UI part. So yeah, this is a laws in UX. This comprises a whole laws in a UX. So next important thing is that Spotify's costing effect. So what basically Spotify's costing effects means? So how many of you are using Spotify right now? Like for how many years or how many months or how many weeks or how many days? Can I get a just good number about that? Anyone?
5 years.
Okay, so we got a number 5 years. Okay, so just the same person who just spoke me, just given out the idea. So what is your thought process? Ki yeah, I should be using this app and I shouldn't be using any other app. So what is a like a basic key factor of using out Spotify? Can anyone just tell me that?
I think it's pretty easy to use and
Less ads.
more user friendly. Less ads, of
Okay.
course. Yeah.
Okay. So you intuitive. Okay, intuitive. So can I just get out more answers? User interface. Okay. Anything else? Anyone? Yeah, be just interactive. Yeah, like I don't think like I'm speaking out of the blank screen. Just be interactive with me. Pleasing to the eye. Okay. Minimal design. Okay. Great. Any more factors? Color scheme. Okay. So sorry, I think we have got a good answer about that. So let me just give you a small just convey a small story that when the competitors of Spotify were like having a section, having a part, we call it as a competitor analysis. So what competitor analysis means is that analyzing your competitors who are your marketplace. So they found out कि Spotify is providing out less ads and they are good, they are burning out their money, but in return what they are trying to make is that they provide you a what I can say, a bunch of playlist or bunch of songs that you couldn't find those on other apps, and they are providing you the same thing at the very beginning in the free. So you will be creating out your playlist by just certain playlists that you can't copy, or you can't just what I can say, if you are a good song listener, you just you'll be knowing your importance of your playlist because it is according to your mood. So you can't copy those things to any certain apps. So that is the main area where Spotify is playing right now. Ki, yeah, I'm investing some money on this particular user so that I can get a good ROI. That means return on of investment. So Spotify is basically investing something to you so that you can have some money to them, because they are providing certain scenarios or certain what I can say, certain certain playlists that you can't find on any other app or any other computer at that time. Right now everybody has every app has a good playlist, but at that time when Spotify was a boom, so this was a basic marketing model, or what I can say, uh, thought process of the Spotify, or designers out there, or PMs out there, to like have a to and fro motion with the Spotify now. So this is basically a Spotify's cost sync effect. So how they are syncing with their cost they are spending out to the user. So bonus tip for you guys, this is my whole personal approach. I haven't shared this with anyone, but I'll be sharing out this to you. So basically WHW approach. So what that means. So why, what, and how. Before starting out to anything, like just I have given you example key, like I just want to design an app that sells out beat. So just try to ask the questions, just frame out the questions to yourself, like why I have to design an app that sells weed? Ki, why I have to like design out the app on the very first place? What are the possibilities, or what are the tech constraint that we are having while designing out the app, and how we will be implementing both design and tech part at the same end. So this is the approach that you should keep while starting out anything. You can write this if you're in if you can take the screenshot of this if you're interested, because yesterday recently I was presenting my I had a like module on the booking section, and I was presenting those section to my stakeholders or my design team. So this coincidentally our lead designer also follows out the same approach, and he literally like appreciated me for putting out this thing. Yeah, you have started with your basics, and this is actually a basics of UX design. When you are starting out with any problem statement or any what I can say, any design solution. So this is a basic of the that. Now let us just get started with the UI. I'll just hop out I'll just give out you the content really faster, because I think we have a time constraint right now. It is 8 point. Sorry. So let us get started with you. If you're just starting out UI specifically, so first of all, try to understand the basic principles of the design, key, how to design out interfaces that is quite pleasing and pleasing to the user. At the same time, that is being feasible for the tech part also, and it is following out every principles that you read out. Basically you don't have to keep the principles on your mind, but if you have read it, then you will get an idea by practicing that key. Yeah, this should be the padding, and this should be my text size, and this should be my icon size, this should be my like profile size, that I have to keep on that. So that is something that comes with experience, and that comes by practicing. There are two ways to practice out design. First of all, first thing is like experience that you will be getting out eventually by exploring out more and more in design field. And second of all, most the shortcut part is like practicing, iteration. The maximum practice you have, the maximum iteration you have, you should be like excelling out yourself, the growth of yourself. You can compare out your if I'll just show you my design, my first design I have ever made. I'll just show you my design right now. You'll totally like notice how the difference, like how bad I was at designing when I was trying to like just I was start in my career. Just a second. So yeah, this was my first design, and it was like basically the approach which I told you, like it was a kind of a copy scenario. I have like taken out a design from something else. So there are various mistakes that you should observe as a user. You won't use it out. Like if you see it is not in the middle of the search bar, it has like quite usability issues, and it is like the contrast problem out here. If you see here the same thing, the thing is like not good because it has a bad spacing at just a second. it has a bad spacing. The text out here is not like consistent. Here the pattern we follow out is not also consistent. Just a second, I guess somebody is called. Just a minute. Give me a minute. Okay, so this was my first design, and you would like see, is it like quite bad? And right now, I'll just show you my any recent project if it is there. Basically, I am inclined to like interfaces and all right now these days. So I'll just give you a yeah. So this was my design of like I was designing out on the free time. There's a brand called Scraters. They have their website. So this was like the interface which I have designed from that. So they just basically sells out various bags or bottles or accessories basically. So this was their interface that I have designed. So there is a gradual change. Like you will personally see that there is a gradual change in your design thinking, your design scheme, and your design process that you follow. So it would be coming out by practice and experience you gather from each and every design you make on a daily basis. So it is like quite time taking, but yeah, totally it is like something that you should do. If you don't have experience, you should have a practice habit of a practice, and you should have a design sprints to practice out of those things. And second of all, the important thing is that color theory and psychology that goes behind like using out the colors that so first of all, let me just give you a small example like about color theory. So what do you think, like what was my basic idea about using out a black linear gradient with a white text right now? What software are used for the same? Right. Previously, I was totally designing in XD, but right now I am designing at Figma. Hello. Right now I use Figma. I am totally shifted to Figma because creating design systems in Figma is quite easily and it is quite feasible. So yeah, next thing is typography, and the last thing is hierarchy. I'll be showing you that. Okay, just a second. Figma desktop. Yeah, Figma desktop. Figma desktop. I use web for both. I use web also, but yeah, Figma desktop is like quite good. Okay. Okay. So typography has a few chapters. If you just want to get a brief about typography, you can check out channel of Ansh. Okay. So you can check out channel of Ansh Mehra. He's like best designer that I personally follow. He's on my like a bucket list. I personally follow him and I admire his work very much. And you can check out his YouTube channel that is on the same name, Ansh Mehra. He has some tutorials on typography, on paddings, on rems or anything design system you want, anything you want. He explain out everything really well in both English and Hindi. So that is what is being feasible for you. Okay. So next thing is hierarchy. So I'll be covering that hierarchy on design principle section. So let us just understand basic design principle that we should be tackling out when we are designing. So contrast. So what does contrast mean? If you just see out contrast in these both things, so the contrasting factor for design principle is more what can you say, the emphasis. Just a second. The emphasis of design principle is more, or it is like quite intuitive. If you see, so if you see the headers, the design principle is quite upfront. Means seeing out to the understanding the basic. Understand the basic design is on the backside, and design principle is coming on the upfront. So that what contrast means. That refers to how different elements are in a design, and particularly adjacent element. These are different. That this difference make of various element. I'll be telling that. This is a definition like I have like copied from the Google. So I'll be explaining this to you. Just Yeah. So what contrast mean is that you are trying to design out something that is being visible or not visible to the user. So that is onto your hand, like how you design something that is being usable to the user. And sometimes you want something that shouldn't be shown or shouldn't be like emphasized in a such a way that ki sab mein same consistency maintained ho. Like if you see the contrast, the color of the contrast is like on 100, and this is right now around 80, and this would be like around 16. So this is a contrast that I'm trying to give out to you while presenting this. So this is a basically basic concept of contrast, like putting out things in a priority. Ki what actually I just want to show you guys. First of all, I just want to show you a header. Then I would like what I can say, focus. I would try to attain your focus on design principles. Then I just want to read out your contrast. Then I am giving a less priority to the definition, because nobody reads definition or a bookish definition right now. Then I just want to focus onto the visible side. Then after that, when while you are scanning from left to right, and then you will see the not visible. So this is a contrast section which I'm talking about. The next principle is balance. So every element in a design, typography, colors, image, or any pattern you see is balanced. Like if you see a switchboard, it is also balanced. Okay. If you see if you see us, so we are also quite balanced. We have 10 fingers. We have 10 fingers on the toes also. So everything is balanced. Nothing is unbalanced. So if you see, this section is quite pleasing to our eyes. But if you see this section is not pleasing compared to this section. See, if I'll show you this section all alone, you'll be telling me that, yeah, sir, yeah, Rahul, this is like quite pleasing. But if I'll be trying to compare out this both things, so you will basically prefer out this section because it is quite balanced and it is quite soothing. So that is a balance in design principle. You have to balance out your design in a such a way that so it doesn't create out any difference for anybody. It should be balanced. The interface should be balanced. Emphasis. Emphasis means, particularly, just let me give you a good example of emphasis. This would be a best example for emphasis. See, what actually the website of credit means. They just want you to read out this sentence: rewards for paying out credit bills. They just want to bring a trustworthy factors by giving out a data. 7.5 million plus members who has win reward and cashback every day, and they are trying to emphasize this download credit button. At the end, they want the user to download out their app. So how the journey flows, how the user journey flows, like you can, if you just see, so how the flow of a user journey would be like. He'll be seeing this text, he'll be reading out ki yeah, credit means ye hota hai ki we are paying bills for the credit cards. Then he'll be seeing ki yeah, itne number of users are using for this, and then after that he'll be reading out, he'll be downloading the app if he wish or he doesn't wish. So that totally depend on user to user. So that what I means with the emphasis, that is emphasizing a particular thing or a particular section so that user can perform out a certain action with the interfaces. Just a second. What made you use the idea of keeping first letter of the first two words in uppercase and other two words in a higher contrast color without uppercase? Is there any design reason throughout? No, just basically a difference of a color. Just basic difference of the color, nothing more than that. I don't have like any idea behind that. Just to give you out what I can say, motivate your eyes toward the color side, because everything out here is quite what I can say. If you see the things which are in a more number, you will see that they are constant, but something that is standing apart from the color. So your eyes or your thought process will be going yeah, ye kuch hatke, like it is something different. So I'll be focusing on that after reading this. Basically, if you see the human eye, we don't read out something. We are scanning, and we don't remember the words. We scan out on the patterns. Like if you see like, just a second. How to enable this? Okay. So if you see out here, so this is a pattern right now I'm scanning. This has a big H here. So this is a pattern which right now I'm scanning. I'm just scanning out word because we have to we don't remember out those things, we just scan out the things, and by scanning the repetitive patterns goes on and goes on, so that we could easily remember the things. So we scan from left to right. So my thought process is that while scanning, everything is constant and everything has the same color or difference in the color with the contrast ratio. I want to focus on the particular design principles part, because we are talking about design principles section. So that comes under that, we have a section we call it as emphasis. So this was a basic structure that I'm trying to perform while presenting out this PPT or a presentation. So this was like this was like my process on that, or thought, I can say. Sean, thank you for asking out. Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll be moving on to next section. Proportion. So what proportion means is like to divide out something in a balanced way. Like if you see the website, those website has a box model. I'll be explaining that by tomorrow. So what actually box models mean? But yeah, I won't be covering all this thing, but I'll be giving out you some materials that I have personally used and I have learned out from those websites, so that you guys can also develop. Because in 1 hour I can't teach you like whole product designing and UX designing. It is just a kickstart. It is just a kickstart for you guys, like to how to start or how to kickstart your journey really early on an early stage. So this is a proportions mean dividing out something in a simple way, so that it is quite feasible, and it is looking good in a aesthetic wise, and it has like a element or relation with one another, so that it don't create any what I can say difference. So basically in a website, if you see, there are quite three proportions. On the first on the left hand side you have a text, and right hand side you have an image, or either you have an image on the left hand side and text on the right hand side, or either the third option right now, the which I have seen from the CAD website, is just a text and a CTA. For that, CTA means call to action. Call to action means the action that user performs while seeing out the buttons or interfaces. Okay, so hierarchy. So what basically hierarchy means? Okay, so if you just see out, I'll just try to explain hierarchy out here. So hierarchy means arranging things or data or interfaces or design in such a way that a structure should be followed. A structure should be followed while presenting out your data or article anywhere. So right now the priority which I have given to the header is P0, because it has a big text size. Then hierarchy, then I have differentiated. This has the same text what I can say text size, text weight, but the difference is out here is with the color. So my hierarchy out here is that P0 mein I have given priority to the headers. Then on P1 side I have given better contrast to hierarchy as a heading, and on the P2 side I have given like a lesser what I can say, a fade color, or I have reduced the opacity of the particular set of definition out here. So this is hierarchy that I am trying to give out to you while you are reading this thing. Okay, so this basically hierarchy means. So next thing is that understanding basic design principle, white space. White space is really important. If you just see out me, or if you ask to anyone that I know, they'll like see ki I basically wear this plain tees or plain I basically wear plain tees, because it has a psychology that I'm running behind on the back end side, that I basically consider myself as a white space guy. Because if you are making out something, if you are designing out something, you should give those design a breathing space, so that they can breathe out, and when the user comes, so they also have a breathing space ki unko bhi ek time pe they don't like see out things like ki cheeze bombard ho rahi hai inke paas. Like if you have a screen and you have a list of in one screen you have a list of 5 items, and one screen you have a list of 50 items. So basically you will zoom in to pinch out, like you will zoom in and you will see and scroll section by section, like how you scroll on the Excel sheet on a mobile phone. But on the same hand, the scrolling effect will be less effortless, because you don't have to zoom in each and every section and scroll from left to right from the user perspective. So that basically means white space, because we are giving our design a breathing space so that our design can breathe out and convey our design thought or our products or our means or our products importance to the user in a convenient way. So that basically what the white space means. So yeah, so these are a basic design principles, but there are more design principles you can find out from the Career Foundry or Top Till page. I'll be you can write this on because I haven't mentioned this. So yeah, that's all about design principles, hierarchy and all. So I have covered various aspects of UX and UI. Now the last and most important thing, tools to be a good UX designer. So I have like given out few workshops and all, and at the end of every workshop, they just generally ask me ki, should I learn Figma, should I learn XD, should I learn Prototype, Framer, InVision, or anything. Like they ask me more and more apps. So I personally know only two apps. I know Figma and XD, and I know ki maximum number of companies, maximum number of companies uses Figma or XD as their main design tool. They don't use any of the tools rather than that. You can add InVision on the third as a third list, but they don't use more than that. And if you want to be a good UX designer, so I would personally tell you guys, be a good communicator, be a really good communicator. If you are not, just a second. What is your opinions on Wikipedia design? Look, the use case of Wikipedia is like to provide out information. So it doesn't have a structure. Like you can change out the structure. It is free to go. But the main thing, the people out there, the user group is out there to read out. So the pattern the Wikipedia follow is like a bookish way, because we personally read out book in such a pattern that is being simply which font you have used in your PPT. It is SF Pro, San Francisco Pro. That is SF Pro, guys, okay. So I have two more fonts that is on my bucket list. I personally use Inter very frequently. I use Inter in my every design. I am big fan of Inter, and I use SF in my most of the designs. And I prefer to design interface for the iOS. I don't recommend, or I don't like, if you're new in this stage, so try to read out like articles of human interface guidelines by Apple. So they have given us a good brief about how to design apps for Macs or iOS or iPad or iWatch or iTV, anything. So that is basically the pattern. And yeah, Google also have his own design system, that is Material Design. So if you are interested on designing apps for the Android and all, so you can read out means a document of Material Design. So yeah guys, so this was like all thing about that I have had. Sorry, like I think there was a mistake in structure because I just had a match of mine, so I just completed those and I just came for the presentation. It was like quite hectic because I'm managing my college internship and certain activities which I'm being responsible to to work on. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that you want to ask me, I'll be waiting 5 more minutes for here, so you can ask me out. Yeah, basically you can give the feedback also, like you can rate me out. Basically I also take yeah, we should start like a feedback session. Like you can give me a bad score also out of 10. I would take as a feedback, and you should point out what are my mistakes while giving this presentation. Looking for a good response from you guys. We have like 49 members, 5 out of 5. Okay, thanks Satya. Thanks a lot. Anyone else? Like, yeah, be interactive. Yeah. Let's be like, अभी जो मैंने chat ही बोला है 100 out of 100. I recently started learning. I'll take 7 days of now. What do you suggest me now? So look, you don't have to like take out UI UX challenge, because for UI UX challenge you will be designing 2 to 3 interfaces only. Like you'll be designing a login screen, then home screen. But what the difference you will be seeing when you're designing a whole app, you will be seeing out there are certain sections like you have to design. Like I'll just give you a small example for that. I'll just explain something. Yes. Is anyone trying to say something? Okay, so likewise, if I say ki 7 days of UI UX challenge mein diya hai ki like you have to design a login screen and home screen. So what basically you will constrain your mind or give effort to your mind is that ki I have to make a login screen then I have to make a home screen. That's it. But what after that? What comes after that? Okay, what comes कि user login पे click करता है तो he would be seeing this screen. So you haven't made the screen ना. So how would you know? Because basically the UI, I have also taken those 100 days of UI challenge, but it is not, I would personally say that it is not useful for you. So you should like try to think out कि if I'm trying to build out login screen, तो इस login screen के how many use cases are there, कि how many things I could make from the login screen, कि either user has the login ID, or if he don't, so he would be like accessing out forget password section, or if he is new to the section, he'll be creating out account, and agar if he has made an account, so he'll be redirected to the home page. And what comes after that? So this is the curiosity that you should have while designing out the apps, or particular sections, or a particular apps. So you can take out key, basically there was a challenge like key design an interface for a dashboard of a payment app. So आपने design तो कर दिया, like you have designed the interface for the app, लेकिन what after that? What comes after that? You have to think like that ना कि yeah, I have designed, लेकिन what user will perform action after that, those screens. So you have to think like that. So I would prefer you shouldn't go with the daily UI UX challenge, but you should come up with your ideas. Ki, like basically I have given a small example, ki, yeah, I want to sell weed. So how would I have a structure of something? Ki, I have to sell this weed. So should I ask him for login screen? Should I present my products or my materials in a such a way that like I have presented out here? So that is a thought process that you should have on your mind. Like be a better visualizer before designing. Visualize the things in your mind and be 100% sure of that what you are visualizing at that moment. Ki, yeah, I have something in my hand and I should present that on the screen, because this is working. Your hands are not working, your eye is not working, this is working. This is the main thing that clubs out everything, because UX design is not small thing, or a product design is not small thing, because you have to cope up with your tech team also, you have to see the tech feasibilities also, you have to like see the users also, and you have to see your market holders. So you are means managing out 3 big hurdles at the same time. So this is what I'm trying to say. So that habit or that kind of scenario you won't be getting from the 7 days of UI UX challenge. So better than that, you should work your own ideas, and you to try it out to learn out various principles and all, and then try to build out small app. Like it may consist of 20 to 25 screens, but something like that. Like you could have like a presentation of like that, but stop presenting your case studies on Behance, because right now no design manager or no hiring manager uses Behance as their portfolios. Yeah, so we'll just go with the next questions. How will be our career in UX? What are skills to needed with a good designer? First of all, you should be like you must be a better better visualizer. That I'm forcing this sentence, better visualizer and a better storyteller before being a good designer. You should first of all convey your idea, then only you can design those things on your design. Okay, I'm more into CP, WebD, and more on a development. So can UI be a good side skill? Yeah, that could be a good skill for you, because there are certain set of designer we call as a unicorn. What I can say, unicorn designers. So they are on the pro level. That comes after experience of minimum 8 to 9 years. So that they have the knowledge of full stack development, plus they have a good knowledge of UX also. So yeah, you can take UI as a good side skill. You will be a T-shaped designer. Did you follow carbon color theme for this PPT, high contrast black, white with the main key element, or do you randomly pick colors? No, I don't follow certain things and all before making out this PPT, because I had a really less time to prepare for the PPT, and I have like I had made a mistake on the structure side, but I had given out something that I had in my mind, or I just have something on my bucket list, so that you won't find these things on YouTube and all. Okay, no one will tell you this thing. Frankly, I'm saying, because I have searched the whole internet. I have searched everything, because right now, right at the moment, I'm still learning. I'm learning each and every day from every mistake I did and everything I did. So I'm just trying to tell you that these are the mistakes. Like the guy who has pointed should I do a 7-day UI UX challenge? So I pointed out nahi, I had made the mistake. Uske koi fruitful results nahi hai. You don't have to do that. So that is kind of thing. I don't I have not randomly picked color that, but basically that are on the emphasis side. I have given a what I can say, a particular preference to them while designing. I'm a person who's been working on a backend programming Python, and I have never been into video editing and designing. Like you said, you were into the video editing in the beginning, and then you moved into the UI UX. My doubt is, can we directly go with the learning UI UX, or you say there is no link with it? No, basically there is no link between video editing and UI UX. They are totally different things. Video editing is a core narration of your visualization that you see, because our eyes are our cameras, and these are the whole things we see and we visualize. So we are trying to frame out those things in our cameras. Okay, that is only the thought process behind this. But in UI UX, our brain is also working, and you are trying to compact those things with your eyes, so that it gives you feasibility, it gives you a pleasure while using all the interfaces that is being presented in front of you. Yeah, so that are being quite different if you just come out, but they come under the same domain. But design is a big domain, but they come under the same domain, but like they are quite different. So I don't think like while I was video editing, so I had like a few, but yeah, few more things like while using a typography or color scheme on a video editing, there were a few more things that is being common in every design aspect. You will find out or something like that. Yeah. So guys, if you have any more questions, okay, got it. Thank you. Yeah. So any more questions? Yeah, guys, please rate me out. Yeah, please. At least after out of 10 or out of 5, what do you think? Because I've got a really less response, I guess. And here are like 46 participants. 10. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Harshpal. Thank you, Mona. Thank you. Yeah, guys. Nice work. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, like for spending out your 1 hour through, I guess, crucial 1 hour, because no one stays at the end. 10. Thank you. Yeah, we'll be planning something more by tomorrow. 8.325. Okay. Thanks a lot for. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. So you guys have any more questions for me? Like something I have to tell you more about? It's awesome session. Thank you, Harshpal. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. At what time tomorrow? Same 7 to 8. Same 7 to 8. It would be like more kind of walkthrough. I'll be giving you at what time tomorrow? Yeah, it will be like a more kind of a walkthrough I'll be giving by tomorrow. I just wanted to know like if you guys like the session and all. So yeah, thank you for being here. It means a lot for me, because it is my first virtual session, and good amount of crowd. Looking forward for tomorrow. Okay, so if you guys have any more doubts or any more queries or anything, you can reach me out in LinkedIn, or I'll just give out my social handle. So this is my portfolio. I would say this is my Instagram account, but it is kind of portfolio. It is public account. So if you have your LinkedIn ID, I would love to connect with you for sure. Just a second. You can find me as a Rahul Rao. Type Rahul Rao or JP University. Yeah, this would help. You can find me, or I'll just give you the link of my. Just a second. Yeah. So this is my link to my LinkedIn account. You can find me out here. Baki, yeah. So this is it from my side. And if you have any questions, you can reach me out here. Yeah, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for attending the session. Thank you so much. It means a lot for me.
Thank you, Rahul. That was an amazing session, and we are going to come back on day 2 as well. Thank you for taking the time, everyone, for being here until the end. Thank you all. Let's meet tomorrow again. Same time, 7 to 8. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye, guys.